They told me I was lucky. But luck doesn't keep you healthy and vibrant for over 40 years. Habits to 1892, I still drive my own car and I still walk every day. Without pain, I haven't had so much as a common cold in 4 decades. And while some people smile and say, you must have good genes, I quietly shake my head because what they don't see is what I do every single day. The truth is, aging doesn't suddenly steal your health. That IT often wears it down slowly in the daily choices we stop making. The skipped movement, the shallow breath, the moment we stop believing our bodies can still improve, can still heal, but just as strength can fade through neglect, it can and does return through consistency. That's what I've learned. Not in a sterile lab or from a dusty textbook, but from living it. Doctors once told me to slow down, to take it easy. Instead, I chose to tune into my body. And over time, I discovered 5 simple, almost deceptively simple exercises that became the very foundation of my vitality. These aren't intense, grueling workouts. They are intentional, mindful movements that have restored and maintained my strength, my focus, my balance, and a deep sense of calm. They don't require a fancy gym or the boundless energy of youth. They just require commitment, a quiet promise to yourself. And if you're willing to give your body that same quiet, consistent care, the kind of care you perhaps once gave your children or your career, these habits can change everything for you too. So, let me show you the 5 daily practices that have kept me strong, sharp, and remarkably sickness-free. Not just in theory, but in the vibrant reality of a life well lived. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I truly recommend you hit that button and turn on the notification bell. That way, you'll never miss another health insight designed with you in mind. And if you enjoy this video and find it helpful, please type 1 in the comments below. If not, or if you have suggestions, type 0. Your feedback is so important in helping us create better content for you. The Spine Awakening Ritual, a 3-minute morning reset that can literally help reverse the feeling of age from the inside out. Most people think illness comes primarily from germs or genetics. But after living 92 years with no major illness and not even a sniffle of a cold in 4 decades, I can tell you with certainty, true health, true vitality begins the very moment you wake up. That's why, before my feet ever touch the ground each morning, I give my body one essential, loving message. You're alive. And I need you. Let's begin this day together. Every morning, I lie flat on my back, eyes still gently closed, and begin a short, sacred sequence that has changed everything for me. I slowly, mindfully turn my head from left to right, not to aggressively stretch, but to gently activate the nerves along my neck and upper spine. Then I bring my knees softly toward my chest, gently hug them, and rock from side to side, as if I'm cradling my own precious spine. Then I release and let my back settle deeply into the mattress, feeling more aligned, more awake, more present. There's no rush, no harsh movements, just gentle attention. This may sound incredibly simple, perhaps even trivial, but this 3-minute ritual does something profound. It rewires how your nervous system responds to the entire day ahead. Think about it. Most seniors, and many younger people too, leap out of bed with tight backs, stiff joints, and sleepy, sluggish circulation. They push themselves upright with sheer force, often triggering sudden spikes in blood pressure and a sense of disorientation. That's precisely why so many falls, dizzy spells, and even strokes happen within the first hour of waking. But when you awaken your spine with care, with intention, but giving your entire body, your entire being, time to remember how to live well. You see, the spine is so much more than just a column of bones. IT is the central highway for every nerve signal in your body. If your spine is sluggish or misaligned, everything is affected. Your balance, your digestion, your clarity of thought. It's all downstream from that crucial morning moment. And the older we get, the more our spine craves gentle rhythm over brute force, mindful attention over hurried speed. That's why I perform this gentle sequence every single day since I was 52. It's not just a habit. For me, it's a ceremony of gratitude for my body. And science backs this up too. A study published in the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy found That's seniors who engage in regular, gentle morning spinal mobilization report fewer falls, improved posture, and greater mental clarity throughout the day. But beyond the numbers, what truly matters is how it makes you feel. Lighter, looser, more deeply connected to your own body. That I used to wake up stiff, sometimes dreading that moment my feet hit the floor. Now, I welcome the day with a sense of calm presence. This ritual doesn't require brute strength or extreme flexibility. That IT requires intention. And in a world that constantly rushes us toward productivity, choosing a few moments of presence for your body is often the very first and most powerful act of healing. The truth is, you can't build a strong, resilient body on a weak, neglected foundation. And your spine is the foundation of your every move, your every breath, your every sense of aliveness. So why not start your day by truly honoring it? Now, if you're wondering what comes after this sacred 3-minute ritual, what else I do to stay sharp, strong, and sickness-free well in my 90s, let me show you something even more surprising. That IT involves nothing more than a common kitchen chair. And it might just save you from your next fall. If you're still watching and finding these insights genuinely helpful, please comment one below to let me know you're with me. Now, let's move on to point number 2, the magic chair routine. A daily practice that brought my functional strength back without ever needing to leave my kitchen. I used to believe that strength primarily came from strenuous effort, from sweat, from pushing hard in a gym. But after 60, something fundamental shifted. My body no longer responded well to sheer intensity. IT responded profoundly to consistency. And nowhere did I discover this more clearly than with a simple, unassuming object that most of us overlook: a kitchen chair. You see, as I aged, I started noticing something that truly frightened me: that I was losing my ability to rise easily, not just from the floor, but from the very fabric of my daily life. Standing up from a comfortable chair began to take noticeable effort. Reaching for a high cabinet made my shoulder twinge with a warning. My thighs, once steady and strong, began to tremble with exertion. IT wasn't a specific illness. It was a slow, insidious erosion. Tiny bits of functional strength were slipping away, often unnoticed, until one day I nearly fell simply trying to reach for a pan on a shelf. That moment was a stark wake-up call. So I began a small, deliberate ritual. Each morning, I would sit in my sturdy kitchen chair, plant my feet firmly on the floor, and slowly, with control, lift one leg at a time, holding it up for a few seconds before gently lowering it. Down. IT first. Even lifting my leg a few inches felt like a significant effort. But I kept going. I wasn't trying to train like an athlete. I was trying to reclaim the fundamental dignity of movement. After the legs, I moved to my arms. I'd raise them straight out in front of me, slowly and with control, feeling the muscles reawaken from their nighttime slumber. 10 slow lifts. No weights, no rush, just breath, presence, and intentional movement. IT took less than 5 minutes each day. But within weeks, I began to notice changes that no medication had ever delivered. I could get out of bed more easily, with less stiffness. I stopped instinctively reaching for walls to balance myself. I could carry groceries again without that nagging fear of dropping them. But more importantly than all of that, I felt capable again. There's something deeply spiritual, deeply empowering about being able to trust your own body again. That humble kitchen chair became more than just a seat. IT became my personal training ground for independence. Doctors call this type of exercise functional movement, the kind that mimics everyday tasks and keeps the nervous system sharp and responsive. In fact, a study published in the Journals of Gerontology showed that seniors who perform regular, simple seated leg and arm raises dramatically improve their lower limb strength and reduce their fall risk by over 30%. But I don't need a study to tell me that. I live it. The true beauty of this routine is that anyone can do it. Whether you're recovering from surgery, living with the daily challenges of arthritis, or just started to feel the undeniable weight of years, you don't need to be able to stand for long periods. You don't need fancy, expensive gear. You need a chair, a little breath, and the quiet willingness to begin. And here's the profound thing. Our bodies don't need punishment to respond. They need gentle, consistent reminders. every lift from. That chair is a whisper to your muscles. You still have purpose. Every slow raise of your arms is a signal to your brain. We are still in motion. We are still alive. Now, if you think that a simple kitchen chair could restore so much of your strength, wait until you learn what your own breath can do. That is the next thing I discovered on my journey. And it's arguably the most powerful medicine I've never had to buy. The 4-7-8 breath, a simple, ancient rhythm that can strengthen your immune system and calm the inevitable storms within. It took me decades, most of my adult life, in fact, to truly learn that the breath, not medication, not even sheer muscle power, was the most potent and accessible healer I possessed. Not long ago, if someone had told me that breathing in a specific intentional rhythm could significantly reduce my blood pressure, sharpen my mental focus, and help me avoid illness altogether, I probably would have smiled politely and then promptly forgotten about it. But life, as it often does, has a way of humbling us, of teaching us what truly matters. I was 68 when I first began experiencing signs of a deep, pervasive fatigue. IT wasn't the normal tiredness from a day's work or a lack of sleep. IT was something heavier, a persistent fog that settled in my mind. Why digestion slowed. I became more irritable. That I wasn't technically sick. According to the doctors, my labs were mostly normal, but I knew, deep in my gut, that I wasn't truly well either. Something was fundamentally off. That's when I stumbled across a specific breathing technique, a pattern known as the 4-7-8 breath. IT sounded almost too simple to be effective. Breathe in quietly through your nose for a count of 4. Hold the breath gently for a count of 7. Then exhale slowly and completely through pursed lips for a count of 8. That's it. No supplements, no cost, virtually no physical effort. But with a healthy dose of skepticism mixed with a sliver of hope, I tried it. Sitting quietly on the edge of my bed, I closed my eyes. I inhaled deeply and smoothly through my nose for 4 counts. I held the breath without strain for 7 counts. Then, slowly, audibly, I exhaled for a full 8 seconds through pursed lips. Like a sigh I had been unconsciously holding in for years. And then I did it again and again. Something remarkable happened within just a few minutes. My heart rate, which often felt a bit racy, began to slow. The tension in my chest and shoulders, which I hadn't even fully realized was there, began to soften, to release. My shoulders, always slightly hunched and tense without me consciously noticing, actually dropped. And most surprising of all, my racing thoughts, the constant mental chatter, began to quiet. For the first time in what felt like weeks, I felt a sense of inner stillness. And that stillness, I soon realized, became my medicine. I made the 4-7-8 breath a non-negotiable part of my daily routine. 4 rounds in the morning upon waking, and 4 rounds at night before sleep. The changes were gradual but profound. I began sleeping more deeply. My digestion improved. My immune system, which had always been decent, became almost untouchable. Even during harsh flu seasons or long, challenging winters, I stayed remarkably strong and healthy. My body, I realized, wasn't just surviving anymore. It was actively healing from the inside out. Science now clearly explains this phenomenon. The 4-7-8 breath and similar diaphragmatic breathing patterns activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of our nervous system responsible for rest, digest, and repair. It essentially tells your body, on a deep physiological level, you are safe now. And when your body feels safe, it shifts its resources away from defense, the fight or flight stress response, and towards growth and healing. IT lowers cortisol, the stress hormone. It helps balance other hormones. IT increases oxygen flow to vital organs. It becomes more resilient, less reactive. But this is more than just biology for me. The breath became a tangible bridge between my often anxious thoughts and my physical health, between the inherent stress of aging and the profound grace of presence. Every slow, complete exhale felt like letting go of accumulated fear and tension. Every gentle inhale was a quiet affirmation. I'm still here, and I'm still strong. Breathing isn't just an automatic bodily function. It can be and should be intentional. That it's one of the few things we do that can change the entire rhythm and chemistry of our body. With nothing more than focused awareness, that I never imagined that true healing could be this quiet, this gentle, and this readily available, always within reach. And if you think your own breath can shift your health so dramatically, imagine what a simple, mindful daily walk can do, not just for your physical body, but for your entire sense of purpose and connection to the world. That, my friend, is where we go next. If you're still watching and finding these insights genuinely valuable, please comment one below to let me know you're here with me. Now, let's keep going with point number 4, walking is medicine. The 15-minute daily ritual that restored not just my physical strength, but my spirit and my very sense of time. There was a period years ago where I believed walking was just a means to get somewhere at IT. Wasn't exercise in the way I understood it then, that IT wasn't particularly important, that IT was simply something I did to move between places, often without much thought. But then I turned 65 and things began to subtly, yet undeniably, change. That I started feeling heavy, not just in my body, but in my heart, in my outlook, and why legs ache more often. My thoughts seemed more tangled and less clear. And the days, though still long, started to feel smaller, more constricted, like I was shrinking into the hours, instead of expanding and living fully through them. That's when I returned to something so profoundly simple, it almost felt foolish at first that I started walking. But not in a gym, not with headphones blasting distractions. That I walked outside, often alone, with nothing but the sound of my own feet on the pavement, the rhythm of my breath, and the quiet presence of the world around me. At first, it was just 5 minutes. One slow loop around the block. My knees creaked in protest. My back resisted. But I kept going day by day. Those 5 minutes gradually turned into 10.10, eventually stretched into 15. I wasn't walking to burn calories or to chase some illusion of youth. That I was walking to reclaim something I had unknowingly lost. My sense of deep connection to my own body, my place in the natural world, and my inherent right to move through it with dignity and ease. Over time, I noticed something incredible happening. My posture improved. I no longer shuffled. I stepped. My digestion started working more smoothly. My mind became clearer. The worries that once felt like persistent shadows, nipping at my heels, began to fade in the gentle sunlight of those morning walks. That I was no longer just aging. I felt like I was awakening. People often underestimate walking. They think if it's not intense, if it doesn't leave you breathless and sweating, it's not effective. But I've learned through lived experience that for seniors, the most powerful form of movement is often the kind that honors the body instead of exhausting it. When you walk with attention, feeling your breath move in and out, letting your arms swing gently and naturally by your sides, placing each foot with care and awareness. You're not just moving muscles, that you're resetting your entire nervous system, that you're circulating lymph. Your body's cleansing fluid, that you're sending fresh oxygen to your brain. You're telling your entire being, I'm here, and I'm not done yet. Science has finally caught up with what wise elders have known for centuries. That a study from the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that just 20 minutes of walking a day can significantly reduce inflammatory markers in older adults. Another from Stanford University showed that walking outdoors boosts creative thinking and cognitive clarity far more effectively than sitting still indoors. But beyond all the compelling research, I know this much from my own life. After my walk, I feel like myself. Again, rain or shine, I never skip it. Not because I'm obsessively strict, but because I've experienced what happens when I do. That I become sluggish. My thoughts feel thick and muddled. My energy dips. But after my walk, I feel renewed, like I've turned a key in some hidden, vital part of myself. And I always try to smile as I go. Not because I'm necessarily already happy when I start, but because the simple act of smiling while walking actually makes me feel happier. That one small act alone helps lower blood pressure and soothe the vagus nerve, the silent conductor of so much of our internal health and being .so. If you've been feeling stuck physically, emotionally, or mentally, don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't wait for energy to magically arrive. Open the door, put one foot forward, And let your body remember that it was built to move. And once it does, you'll need to fuel it the right way. Because what you put on your plate, especially the moment you return from that walk, may be the most important nutritional choice you make all day. The hand-opening ritual. Small, silent movements that keep you independent and truly alive. There's a moment in aging that no one really prepares you for. That it's not necessarily when your knees ache or when your hearing starts to fade. It's often when your hands stop obeying you with the same precision and strength. You reach for a jar and your grip falters. You try to write a check and your pen trembles. You attempt to button a shirt and suddenly something as simple as getting dressed becomes a frustrating, time-consuming task. That moment, however quiet, carries a heavy truth. Our hands, once such reliable tools of strength, dexterity, and precision, are often among the first parts of our body to whisper, "You're slowing down." I remember when I first truly noticed it. I was 74 that I had dropped my keys 3 times in a single week. Once, I nearly locked myself out of the house. I brushed it off at first. Just clumsy today, I told myself. But deep down, I knew better. IT wasn't just about coordination. It was about a fading connection. My hands and my brain weren't in sync the way they once were. So I started something so small, so simple, that most people would probably laugh if they saw me doing it. Every morning before I even pick up a spoon for breakfast or a toothbrush, I open my hands as wide as I possibly can, stretching each finger like rays of emerging light. Then I slowly, deliberately close them into a full, strong fist that I hold it for 5 seconds, feeling the engagement, then gently release 0.10 times. That's IT.no weights, no complicated tools, just focused attention and mindful intention. AT first. It felt almost ridiculous. Could such a tiny, seemingly insignificant movement really make a difference? But by the second week, I could feel a distinct warmth returning to my fingers. A noticeable improvement in blood flow that hadn't been there before. My rings stopped feeling so tight. My hands didn't cramp up as easily while writing or gardening. That I could carry groceries with more confidence, without that nagging fear of dropping a bag. But more than any of that, I began to feel capable again in those small, essential daily tasks. Our hands are so much more than just limbs. They're direct extensions of our autonomy, our ability to interact with the world. They feed us, they clean us, they protect us, they hold the hands of loved ones. They create, they express, they connect. And when they start to weaken, it's not just about a loss of physical function. It's about a subtle erosion of identity, of independence. That's why I never take them for granted anymore. And there's research to affirm this simple practice too. A study published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that regular hand strengthening movements in older adults significantly reduced arthritis pain, improved grip stability, and even enhanced neurological communication between the brain and hands. In fact, grip strength has now been clearly identified by medical science as a strong and reliable predictor of overall longevity and vitality. But even without the data, I can tell you from lived experience, my hands are my lifelines, and keeping them strong is a sacred, non-negotiable daily ritual. That IT doesn't take much, just presence. Just 5 minutes of your morning to remind your fingers, your hands, that they still matter, that they're still vital. It's a quiet kind of strength, this exercise, easy to dismiss. It's so profoundly essential for maintaining independence. And in those silent, repetitive, mindful motions, there's a kind of devotion, a deep respect for the body, a conscious decision not to let age passively steal your agency. That I still do it every single day. Not because I'm afraid of losing control, but because I actively choose to keep it. Because true strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, you still have time. You still have power. And if you followed me this far, through the awakening breath, the healing walk, the empowering chair routine, the mindful spinal reset, and now the strengthening of the hands, then you may be wondering, what could possibly be left? What's the one crucial thing I do, perhaps at night, after all these daily habits, that allows my body to truly repair, renew, and perhaps even gently reverse the aging clock while I sleep? That secret, my friend, that capstone to a day lived with intention is what? I'll share with you next. Conclusion: the quiet power of small, consistent things. Looking back over more than 9 decades of this incredible journey called life, I've come to understand something deeply, something I wish someone had told me with such clarity when I was younger. Aging isn't the end of health. It's the beginning of a different kind of strength, a strength that doesn't rely on the fleeting power of youth or sheer speed, but on consistency, mindful attention, and profound kindness toward your own body. These 5 practices I've shared with you today: the spinal awakening ritual, the magic chair routine, the 4-7-8 breath, the healing walk, and the hand-opening ritual. I notice you mentioned morning mental tuning in the original script conclusion, but the 5th habit described was the hand-opening ritual, so I've kept it consistent here. They aren't flashy. They won't make headlines or win medals, but they've given me something far more valuable than applause: independence, peace of mind, and a body I can still, at 92, rely on. Here's a truth most people don't want to fully admit, or perhaps don't realize. Health after 60, after 70, after 80 doesn't primarily come from doing more. It often comes from doing less, but doing it with profound intention and consistency. You don't have to train like an Olympic athlete or eat like a monk confined to a mountaintop. What matters most is what you do consciously and lovingly every single day, even if it's just for a few dedicated minutes. Health isn't built in a sudden burst of effort. It's restored and maintained in quiet, daily repetition. If you're reading or listening to this and wondering if it's too late for you, let me gently but firmly remind you: if you're still breathing, it's not too late. Not even close. Every breath is a new beginning. Every morning is a fresh invitation. That I didn't start all of these habits in my youth. That I started most of them in my 60s and 70s, when things were already aching and slowing down. But that's precisely when it matters most to begin. And yes, there will be days when you don't feel like it. Days when the body resists and the mind wanders off to other concerns. That's okay. That's human. Do it anyway. Because the real reward isn't just physical, that it's deeply emotional, even spiritual. When you consciously care for your body, you're sending it a message it has longed to hear. You are still worth it. I haven't given up on you. That kind of consistent, loving message changes things internally. It makes you stand taller, breathe deeper, move with more dignity. It makes you less afraid of the years ahead, because you're no longer just passively aging. You're actively living. Here's my heartfelt advice from one long life to another. Don't wait for motivation to strike like lightning. Don't wait for the perfect plan or the right expensive equipment. Just begin today. Roll your ankles gently before getting out of bed. Sit tall in your chair and lift your legs with purpose. Breathe with intention, with rhythm. Walk with presence, noticing the world around you. Picture the kind of day and the kind of self you want to grow into. And remember, every single act of care you give your body is an act of defiance against decline, an affirmation of life. You are not a victim of age. You are the keeper, the steward of your own vitality. Take the next step. Begin again tomorrow, and know this with all your heart. You're not just adding years to your life. You're adding vibrant, meaningful life to your years. These lessons are meant to inspire you, to empower you, to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd truly love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect, and please share in the comments below. What's one thing you've learned today, or one practice that resonated with you, that you plan to apply in your own life? Let's support and encourage each other on this vital journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video and found it genuinely helpful, please leave a comment with the word 1. If not, for any reason, or if you have suggestions for future topics, please feel free to comment with 0. Your honest feedback means a great deal to us. And please, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you so much for watching, and here's to you, living your life fully and on your own terms.